Hi, I'm Diana Chavez with SunRay Construction Solutions. Today's webinar is Has Your Business Been Impacted by Hurricane Ian? Conducted by construction legal expert Alex Barthet. Let's get started.
Thanks, Diana. My name is Alex Barthet. I am a board certified construction attorney here in Florida. And today we're going to talk about how to deal with the impacts of Hurricane Ian from many different points of view. So let's go ahead and get started. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about the federal assistance that's available, some Florida assistance that's available. We'll talk about an emergency Department of Business and Professional Regulation order that expands what construction companies can do under this emergency order. And then we'll talk about what to do if your work is stopped and how you can still get paid. And then, as always, we'll answer any questions that you have at the end. With respect to those questions, use the GoToWebinar chat box on your screen. Make sure not to include the names of any people or companies in your question. And again, submit them throughout the course of the webinar, and we will answer them all at the very end. So let's talk about the federal assistance that's available because of Hurricane Ian. So those affected by the storm who reside or have a business anywhere in the state of Florida qualify for certain very limited tax relief. And primarily it's an extension of the time for tax filings. So certain filings falling on or after September 23rd and before February 15th are postponed automatically through February 15th. So if you have an extension that would otherwise run out, for example, on October 17th, it will now have a February 15th filing date. Unfortunately, though, because any payments related to 2022 taxes were due in April, those do not qualify for extensions. So you would otherwise have to have paid those payments. So the hurricane order from the IRS does not extend the actual payment date associated with the taxes, just the filing date. And here is the link to the specific IRS publication. And again, if you need any of this information, we'll have our emails at the end, and we'll send you a copy of the presentation so you have it all, including all of the links if you want more information. Some other federal assistance that exists is the SBA provides certain loans up to $2 million with relatively low interest rates for homeowners, renters. These loans are intended to allow you to repair or replace any damaged property, including automobiles. For businesses, you can use it to repair property, inventory, and equipment. The deadline to apply is only a few weeks away, November 28th, 2022. So if you want federal SBA assistance with a loan, you need to apply very soon. There's also the EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loans, available by the federal government, which can provide working capital for most private and nonprofit organizations. The deadline to apply for those loans is June 29th, 2023. And here is the link to get more information. It's disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. Florida also has some assistance available. So the Department of Economic Opportunity, the DEO, has activated the Small Business Emergency Bridge Loan Program. It is a zero interest loan. They're generally much smaller. You have to have a business between 2 and 100 employees, and you can apply for up to $50,000. The business must have been in existence on or after September 24th, 2022. And you need to be located in an eligible county. You have to have been economically or physically impacted by Hurricane Ian, and you have to have a credit score of 600 or above. And also, if you have any outstanding emergency bridge loans that have not yet been fully repaid, those will have to be repaid before you can qualify. And the deadline to apply is December 2nd. So again, not very far away, about a little less than a month. You can go to floridajobs.org/EBL and you'll get more information and the application. There's also some additional tax deadline filing extensions. So the Florida Department of Revenue has extended the date to file corporate income taxes if you're impacted by Hurricane Ian. So those deadlines are now going to move to March 2nd, 2023. And again, and these apply to any business located in the state of Florida. Again, you have to be an affected business, so you have to show that there's some impact to your business, but you can be anywhere in Florida. And here is the link to that information. Okay, so let's talk about the Department of Business and Professional Regulation emergency order. So the DBPR has a division called the Construction Industry Licensing Board. That is the division that issues licenses and maintains and manages all related disciplinary and licensing issues for contractors in the state of Florida. So prior to this emergency order, generally speaking, a general contractor, so if you have a general contractor's license, you were not allowed to do roofing work yourself. You had to hire a licensed roofer to do the work. So that means if I'm a general contractor and I don't have a roofing license, if I need to do any type of roofing work, I have to sub that out to a roofer, a licensed roofer. Now, during the pendency of this emergency order, as long as the permit is active, including new permits, a contractor, so a licensed contractor in the state of Florida, can do roofing work directly in certain counties, and we'll list those counties in a minute. So that means you don't need to hire a roofer. You can do it all yourself. And again, the intent of this order is that the significant damage to roofs in the state of Florida are so significant that that there are not enough roofers to do the work. As a result, they have extended the population, the pool of people that can do work, and they include now anyone with a state license as a general contractor. So it goes further. If you are a registered contractor, prior to this order, you could only do work as a contractor in the county where your license was based. Again, remember, certified contractors can do work anywhere in the state. Registered contractors can only do work in the county where their license is based. This order goes on to say that during the pendency of this order, again, so long as that there's an active permit, even registered contractors can do work in these specific counties, which I'll list. They can do the roofing work without the need to hire a licensed roofer. The link is here in the materials. And again, if you'd like to read the entire order, we'll provide these materials to you at the end of the presentation. So here are the list of applicable counties where this DBPR order applies. Alachua, Baker, Bradford, Brevard, Broward, Charlotte, Citrus, Clay, Collier, DeSoto, Duval, Flagler, Gilchrist, Glades, Hardy, Henry, Hernando, Highlands, Hillsborough, Indian River, Lake, Lee, Levy, Manatee, Marion, Marin, Miami-Dade, Monroe, Nassau, Okeechobee, Orange, Osceola, Palm Beach, Pasco, Pinellas, Polk, Putnam, St. John, St. Lucie, Sarasota, Seminole, Sumter, Union, and Volusia. So if the property is in any of those counties, you can do the work without the need to hire a roofer, a licensed roofer. So let's talk about what you can do if you are on a project and it has stopped, how do you secure your right to get paid? There are effectively three things that you should look at. So number one, what does your contract say? Second, is there insurance that will cover some or all of the amount that you're owed or that you have lost? And three, and probably most importantly, do you have lien rights and are those lien rights fully protected? So let's run through each of these issues. So let's start with your contract. Is your contract in writing or is it verbal? Um, so if you have a verbal agreement, so I come to your house, I tell you that, I can replace your air conditioning. There's nothing really in writing. Then, maybe it's as simple as just a quote, but no terms and conditions. Then the ability to make a claim or have to deal with those issues around the document are pretty much whatever anyone wants to make them because there are no detailed terms and conditions. If it's in writing, however, what does the contract say with respect to your obligation to keep working if you haven't been paid? And relatedly, can you stop work if you're not getting paid? So most contractors, well, let's break it down. So if you're a general contractor and you have your own form of agreement, more likely than not, your agreement is going to be good for you and or better for you than it is for the owner. So you probably have favorable terms in any contract that you've prepared that you've handed to somebody. But if someone has handed you their form of agreement, and the most common place we see that is if you're a subcontractor and someone has given you their form of agreement. So maybe an owner's given you a contract or the general contractor has given you their contract. More likely than not, that contract is going to be good for them and not so good for you. So you need to look before you stop working to see, do you have the right to stop working? And if so, under what conditions? So most commonly, you may find what's called a force majeure clause or a clause that talks about force majeure events. And if so, then take a look and see what those are. Does the contract provide for you to have an out because of acts of God or severe weather? Those are the types of things that you need to look for. Don't just assume that automatically you have the right to stop working, even if you're not getting paid. You need to see what the contract says because there are contracts that will require you to continue to work even if you haven't been paid. And a hurricane by itself may not be the trigger to stop working. Let's talk about your insurance. The first thing you have to figure out is what was damaged and is there a policy to cover it? So let's cover the most basic types of claims. So cars and trucks, most likely that's going to be your auto policy or business auto policy. You should make a claim for any damage to your cars and trucks on your auto policy. Tools and equipment. So if you had tools and equipment at a job site and it's been damaged because of the hurricane, the most likely place where you'll have coverage for that is your commercial general liability policy. So you want to talk to your agent or broker and you want to determine, does your GL policy cover tools and equipment that have been damaged? And the most significant and unfortunately place where there may not be coverage is for work in place but not yet paid for. So let's say I'm the drywall contractor. I've installed $30,000 worth of drywall on a project and I have not yet been paid for it. I still may have a claim to get paid for it under the lien law. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if the project has builder's risk insurance, which not every project has to have, so it may not exist, you may be an insured under that builder's risk policy, and you may be able to make a claim under the builder's risk policy for work that you have installed or materials you have installed that have not yet been paid for that were damaged by the hurricane or that may have to be redone because of the hurricane. So you need to find out from the owner or the contractor, is there a builder's risk policy? You need to get your hands on it, and then you need to make a claim on that builder's risk policy. So finally, and probably most importantly, you need to secure your lien rights as soon as possible. You should not delay. So let's run through the steps that you need to follow in order to secure your lien rights. So 1, you need to use SunRay to serve a notice to owner. This notice to owner needs to be served on the owner and the contractor no later than 45 days from your first work or delivery of product to the job site. Now, if you have a direct contract with the owner, so maybe you're the general contractor with a direct contract with the owner, maybe you're the plumber and you have a direct contract with the owner. If so, you don't need to serve a notice to owner. One of the most common mistakes we hear people make is they think that they don't have to serve a notice to owner until they are owed money. That is not true. You need to serve a notice to owner no later than 45 days from your first work or delivery materials to the project. And again, 45 days is the day that it has to be received by the owner and the contractor. So if you send it on the 44th day, it's not going to get there on time. So you need to do it as soon as possible. So even if you have been getting paid, but you never served a notice to owner when you needed to, you may not have lien rights. So that's why you have to do it on every job that you have. It should just be common practice. Every job, no matter what, we're going to send a notice to owner. The next step is you need to record your lien with SunRay no later than 90 days from your last work on the job. So this is now when it's determined, geez, I haven't been paid. If I needed to send a notice to owner, I already did that. When do I need to start preparing to record my claim of lien? My advice is it's due as of the 90th day. You should start thinking about it as of the 60th day, 60. That'll give you ample time to gather the documents, submit the information to SunRay, have it prepared, signed, notarized, timely recorded, and mailed out to all the parties. So we're not rushing at the last minute on day 87, scrambling to get everything done to record your lien. A few things with respect to the date of last work. It does not include punch list work. It does not include warranty work or repair work. So if I'm the electrician and the last work I do is today, and then 3 weeks from now, I'm asked to go out and, check on some switches because they're not working. My last work is today. It's not 3 weeks from now when I actually went back to check on some switches, maybe do some punch list work or warranty work. It's got to be real work that would entitle you to be paid. And you count the 90 days every day, including weekends and holidays, until you get to the 90th day. If the 90th day happens to fall on a weekend or legal holiday, then it rolls to the next day. So you're going to count every business day in between from the date of last work through and including the 90th day. What other steps do you need to do? If you happen to be in direct contract with the owner, then you need to serve what's called a contractor's final affidavit no later than 5 days before you file your lawsuit to foreclose on your lien. Now, you have 1 year from your last work to file this foreclosure lawsuit. I do not recommend waiting a year. I think, if you've recorded the lien and another 30 or 60 days have gone by and you haven't been paid, that's when you really should start thinking about pursuing the recovery. But just know, if you have a direct contract with an owner, at least 5 days before you file your foreclosure lawsuit, you have to serve this contractor's final affidavit. So Diana, do we have any questions?
Yes, Alex, we have one question from Jonathan. It says, with the DBPR list of counties you posted, where contractors may roof? Were there any changes with having to file with local municipalities for business tax or N licenses?
No, so in order to comply with this emergency order, you need to be an active business. You need to have all of your licenses, including the business tax receipts. But that, just so you know, the business tax receipt is not a license under the DBPR rules. You need to have a specific general contractor or roofing license. So if I want to be, if I want to do this, I don't just go and get a business tax receipt and open up a business in those counties and start working. What I need to do is I need to do that, plus I need to become a licensed general contractor. Whether I'm a certified contractor that can work in the whole state or a registered contractor that can only work in those counties, either one is fine, but by no means are you allowed to just have a business tax receipt and therefore that does not comply with the rules. Are there any other questions, Diana?
No, Jonathan says, thank you for the clarification. Great presentation.
Okay,
And
great.
no
So
more
let
questions.
me run through a few other things. The lien law is complicated. We have this tool which you can get for free. It's called the Lien-O-Matic. You see it there on the screen. It's something you can keep on your desk, and it tells you what to file and when to file it. You can get yours free by going to lienomatic.com, submit your information, and we'll put one in the mail to you. You'll get it in a few days. It will explain for each person's role on a project, whether you're the GC, the sub-sub, or a supplier, what do you need to file and when does it need to be filed? So that'll help you answer any questions that you may have with respect to the lien law. We do these webinars every month. Our next one is on December 6th, where we're going to talk about how to deal with credit card chargebacks and bad checks. So if you've ever had to deal with or are worried that you may have to deal with credit card chargebacks and bad checks, we're going to explain how to deal with them step by step. And then we have our list of 2023, I have a mistake there, 2023 webinars already on the sunraynotice.com/webinar page. The first one we're going to do is January 11th. It is a New Year's refresher on liens, bonds, and collections. Again, all of these are free. You can sign up now for the whole year's presentations. Again, you can go to sunraynotice.com/webinars to learn more and sign up. Here's our contact information. If you have any questions, send us an email. Even if you think of questions later, we're happy to answer them. Anything else, Diana?
No, sir. We're all good. We're all set.
Great. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for your time.